guys, welcome back. We are going to be doing a little bit of a plant haul video today. Many of these things I purchased in September. For a lack of better words, we are going to say September plant haul. So some of these were purchased on November 1st. Some of these were from a group order that somebody from a Facebook group was kind enough to do a group order from, where was it? Like Equigenera or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, I got some of that, and there was an issue. I picked the wrong plant, and there was a whole thing there. But you'll see what I got anyway. So yeah, do you remember back in the day? If you follow my videos, I grow a lot of the large Alocasias, the big elephant ears, the Borneo Giant, the Borneo King, the Macrorrhiza. Well, that is a Borneo King, just a different variety of. The Lutea, the Serendipity, all those bigger guys, and I want to scale back on the big guys so that my garden can have some room for some shrubbery, so I have 4 seasons of interest, not just a beautiful summer lush tropical vibe. In a cold climate, it's really, really boring late fall, winter, and early spring until I get things out there and they start to do their thing. So I'm trying to kind of incorporate the tropicals in, but I want to have more of a four season display of shrubbery. So I'm scaling back my big Alocasias, and I'm moving to these guys. These guys are the Jewel Alocasia. It's a very loose name for this because not all of them are really, really pretty or modeled or just more small, more delicate, I guess. These guys are more of a jungle, well, the big Alocasias are jungle plants too, but they seem to be much more tough. These guys are forest floor, kind of a shade to semi-shade, bright light inside, bright indirect light inside, but outside very much a shady spot where the big guys can tolerate, in my area, full sun. So I'm rambling. I said I was going to bring back, or take down my Alocasia collection, and I have increased it like crazy. So I've got all kinds of these beautiful Jewel Alocasias. This particular one here is a Maharani. Look at the beautiful, I forget what they call this one, a gray dragon or something. But these leaves are just so prehistoric looking. They just have so much texture. They're so thick. Alocasia, the reason why I want to scale them back, for one, is space outside, but also, when I bring them inside, it's spider mite heaven. Oh my god. So this, I'm just adding to frustration because it's such a battle in the house, and I can't use systemic. Systemic insecticides aren't available in my area of Canada. I don't know if they're available in all provinces, but in Ontario, they are not a thing that you're allowed to have. Unless you have a farming license and all this other stuff, you're not allowed to do it. They're trying to help out bees and whatnot, the beneficial insects. So we're not allowed to do that. So please, if you have, I would love to know how you control spider mites, but just don't say systemic. I know systemic's an option for many of you, but it's not an option for me. So it makes the battle so much harder. Wiping down leaves all the time, and spraying, and wiping, and showering, and it's just an ongoing battle weekly. So anyway, I'm just a glutton for punishment, but they're such beautiful plants. They love high humidity, these jewel orchids, jewel Alocasias. They really want to be above 60% humidity. Some of them want to be higher, so if you live in a drier zone, these are going to be really, really difficult. You'll probably want to have them in some sort of a terrarium. But in my grow room, it's usually between 50 and 60% humidity at least, and then I have little micro areas where, little microclimates, as it were, closer to humidifiers and whatnot. So this is a beautiful one. You want to try to keep them just moist, I guess damp. They don't want to be wet, they don't want to be dry, they want to be that beautiful in-between. You want to let just a little bit of the soil dry out between waterings, and they will be happy as a clam. Keep them warm. They don't want to go below 15 degrees Celsius. So what's that? That might be like 68, no, that's 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's say 60 degrees Fahrenheit. They don't want to go below that. it's 15 degrees Celsius. I'm trying to convert. It's hard for you people that go in Fahrenheit, and they don't want to go above 30 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know what that is, high 80s, I think. So anyway, this Maharani is actually flowering. Usually I cut the blooms off. I hope that it's coming into focus and not finding my face. But that is kind of a cute little bloom. Normally I cut them off, but it's cute, so I'm leaving it. This guy here, I had one of these last year. I bought it last year and then it rotted over the winter. I guess I kept it a little bit too moist, so it is what it is. But this is the Alocasia Louderbachiana. Yeah. But this one is going to be, I think they call it the purple sword. And I love the difference in the leaves. This one isn't a jewel species. This one will actually get taller. But it has that really long lance leaf. I think that they probably get to be about 3 feet long, and they're quite narrow. So that's a really, really cool one. Next here in the list is, this one is Alocasia sinuata mirror face. So this one here kind of reminds me of the dragon scale, but it's not the dragon scale. These leaves are so ornate. The veining pattern on here is just beautiful. This is still a relatively small plant, and there was some slightly larger ones that were there where the leaves were a little bit bigger and really, really distinctly veined, and they were beautiful. But I got this one because there was 3 little plants in it. The leaves were smaller, but I can let it grow in. I don't mind waiting. And I don't think that this one gets very big. I think that it might get to be maybe 1.5 feet tall, I believe, and the leaves probably maybe 8 to 10 inches long. But can you imagine seeing a leaf like that a little bit bigger? Oh, it's so pretty. I don't know why they call it mirror face. I wonder if it's because, like some of the other, like dragon scale and whatnot, they've got a very matte finish, where this one has a sheen to it. I'm not sure whether it's picking up on camera. Am I even getting it in frame there? But they're so pretty. This one doesn't have any pretty backside to it. It's just a lovely green. But I'll take it. It's beautiful. And then what do we got here? Let's just do the Alocasias first. This one here is an Alocasia Wendlandii. I want to say Wendy Eye, but it's Wendy Eye, Wentii. And this one reminded me, I wasn't going to get this one. This one here, it's not a jewel, but it's not a big. I think it gets to be about 3 feet tall, maybe 3.5 feet tall maximum. So it gets to be a nice size, but a nice size for a container or indoor. I think they call it a hardy Alocasia. I don't know, or hardy elephant ear. I'm not sure why they call it that. Perhaps it's colder hardy than others. I'm not sure. Just a speculation, but a weird common name anyway. This one here kind of reminds me of the Regal Shields. Not the same, but just a resemblance because it has the nice darker green top and then more of a purpley red underside. The Regal Shields has more of a white vein or a lighter vein going through the leaf. But I thought I'd pick this one up. They were only $10. I can't go wrong for $10. I need to add to my collection, right? This one here really, really was interesting to me. I saw this one online. There's not a lot written about it, but this one is Scalum, Alocasia Scalum. But look at those leaves. Oh my gosh, the deep sinus on these leaves. They're such a unique plant. The leaf is very thick, so I'm wondering if these really thick leaves are going to really resist the spider mites. Spider mites tend to really ravage the thinner leaf plants, so we'll see how this goes. My Frydek, which I brought in a few weeks ago, already has spider mites on it. So usually by this time of the year, I don't have spider mites on my plants, or not noticeable spider mites on my plants. Usually by around January, I start seeing spider mites, and it's just an ongoing battle from there until spring. But I'm seeing it early, so I've got to prepare myself. I've got to mentally prep myself, put myself in the zone. And but look at those leaves. So this is Scalum, Alocasia Scalum. I think that this one here also stays very, very low. This was on Keely Ellen's Rare Plant Index in the Alocasias Volume 2. I believe it was Volume 2. And it was in the ultra rare category. I was trying to find information on this one before I bought it, and her video came up, and I'm like, well, I have to get it. Well, I wanted to get it before, but because there's not very much I've seen on the internet about them, I thought she would say something interesting. But it was just nice to know that it's very uncommon. And it was only $10. I can't go wrong with that. What else do we have here? We have over here, this one was one of the imports. It's not a happy camper right now, but it was bare rooted. These guys really resent being repotted. So with the jewel alocasias, you want to kind of let them stay in their pot for a while and really try not to disturb the roots too badly if you can help it. If it needs to have a complete repot, then obviously do what you need to do, but they will sulk and they will tell you that they're not very happy. And so yeah, this is the dragon scale. I see a little ant on the underside of this leaf. Get away! So here's the leaf. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited to finally grow this one. I hope that it bounces back pretty quick. It will. This is the back side of the leaf. It's got some dark veining on the back side. And we got a dying leaf over here, and this leaf isn't looking so good. The roots are establishing, and it will when it puts out a new leaf, it should be back to right. But these were all of the leaves that came with it when it was imported. I think it lost one or two other leaves as well, but that's all right. That's the fun of importing plants. They're not necessarily perfect, but you have that sense of accomplishment when you get them to acclimate and start growing again. And yeah, very excited about this one. These guys are still quite pricey. I don't like paying more than $50 for plants usually, but this one was an exception because I really like it. Next on the list, this is a begonia. I haven't really bought too many begonias this year. This is a terrarium variety of begonia. Let me get this name right. Begonia Amphioxus. But look at those leaves. This is going to be in a little terrarium. I'm going to convert a little vase into, or a tall vase, a clear vase, and I'm going to do a layered system with some leca on the bottom, then with some sphagnum moss, and then I'm going to do some pon, and then I'm going to do a peat-based soil with added perlite, with a wick that goes up through, and yeah, it's going to be a nice self-watering, self-contained little climate for it. And this guy here, when I was reading about it, it likes to have between 60 and 80% humidity through the day and 100% humidity at night. Try to do that in the house without a terrarium. So yeah, very excited to try this one out. I will do a video with me potting it up in its little vase because I think it'll be fun to try. And we'll see how it grows. I hope I don't kill it. Right now I have it sitting right next to the humidifier, so it's getting the cool mist on it all day. They do like really good light, bright and direct, and I guess if you give it enough light, the humidity is not as much of a problem. Don't quote me on that because every situation is completely different, but if it can sustain itself and have enough energy, it's going to do better. It's still not going to look great. You're probably still going to have burnt, crispy tips and stuff, but it will probably survive if it's given a good enough light and at maybe 40 or 50% humidity. But it really does better, from what I read, between 60 and 80%. That's a lot. So that's this one, the Begonia Amphioxus. And then, what do we have over here? Oh, this was a fun one. I got this from the lady that was doing the group order. I ordered, actually let's go to this one next. Because I'm an idiot, I was supposed to be putting an X for Philodendron Melanocrism because I really want that in my collection, and this was the plant below it. I already have one, I propagated it, I have a bunch of these. This is the Philodendron Florida Ghost. It's a wonderful plant, it's a beautiful size. It's not looking the same as the the dragon scale, it's acclimating pretty good. It's got some nice growth. Its leaves are pretty healthy, and yeah. The only thing is it doesn't have a lot of white where it should be a ghost. But that's all right. I like it just the same. But instead of wanting this one, I wanted the Melanocrism. And when she showed me the order, I'm like, well, I didn't order a Florida Ghost. She's like, well, you kind of did. That's where the X was, and it was the box just below. I'm such an idiot. So she said that she had a rooted cutting of Melanocrism. So I ended up buying this from her. So it didn't have any growth nodes or any growth starting, but other than roots. But I see in the last couple of weeks since having it, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's a little growth starting in the base there. So I'm very excited to see some life. Me and some I'm getting better with philodendrons, but I really wanted to have a growth point. So I got this one. It was fairly inexpensive. So I hope that it does well and I can keep it alive and happy. Micans is a problem for me. I've grown the Gigas so far with no problem, or Gigas. Now we're doing the Melanocrism. And last but not least, this one has been on my wish list for quite some time. Ever since I saw it, I don't even know where I saw it. It was a few years ago, before the big plant craze. It's a Syngonium Wendlandii. I love these beautiful leaves. I love how they have this dark green with the light green stripe down the center of the leaf. They grow similarly to a regular Syngonium, so they're supposed to be very easy care, but they want higher humidity. So it's a little bit different than a regular Syngonium, but it also is very much the same. So we'll see how this one does. I feel like I want to cut it back because there's so many little growth nodes. Do you see the little growth points here along each node? I would love it to branch out. I'm going to be giving it a moss pole. I want to have it grow up a little bit, and I want to see the leaves mature. I want it to be more of a bushy plant because these look so beautiful in little compact bushes. And then I'd like it to climb a little bit because when the leaves mature, they're also called a goosefoot vine, I believe, where they get 5 lobes altogether, 2 small ones at the top, 2 smaller ones on the sides, and then the big one down below. So it looks really amazing when it's mature. So yeah, I can't wait to grow this one. That's so pretty, it's so cool. That is Syngonium Wendlandii. And last but not least, I wanted to have something. It's just Apotheos. It's just Apotheos. Who buys Apotheos anymore? Me! So I wanted to, in my bathroom, I have a great big window in my bathroom, but it gets, north facing, and I have like one of those films on the window to not have curtains, but you can't see out. But it'll lets light in, but since it's a north window, it doesn't get a lot of direct light. Well, it doesn't get any direct light. It's just very ambient light. Many plants don't do the greatest there because of the film, so I'm hoping that this will do just fine. I created a moss pole for it. So this is the moss pole. I want it to be beside my bathtub, and I want it to grow up the self-watering moss pole. And I might do a video, don't fall down. I want to do a video of me mounting it on the moss pole, and you can see that little process, and then hopefully in a year or so it'll be up to the top of the moss pole, and it'll be growing just beautifully, and hopefully the leaves will be getting bigger and all that jazz. So this has been the plant haul. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I better not be forgetting anything. This was a lot of plants. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I want to know what special things you've found in garden centers recently, because there's been a huge influx of interesting, unusual plants, things that you don't see all the time. Is there anything that really struck your fancy, anything that you've never seen before that you picked up, or just that you have never seen that you thought was really cool? I'd love to know in the comments section down below, or send me a photo on Instagram. I'd love to see it. I want to see it, and then I'll probably want to buy it. Anyway, until next time, you guys, happy growing.